Welcome, one and all, to the For the Fan. Welcome back to For the Fan. Why am I trying to jumble up my words here? I apologize because last week I did screw up, and there was no real intro.
You didn't screw up last week. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I forgot what to do.
You said that like 15 times too. But yes.
I forgot my name. It was that episode of SpongeBob with name. Come on, what's his name? No,
we didn't introduce anyone.
Yeah, so I'm Will. There's Dom. There's Jake. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
Colton's not here. Maybe he'll be back with us next week. Fingers crossed. Love the man. Got to spend his weekend at his engagement party. Real fun time. Loved every second of it.
Valid.
I know.
It was fun?
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. It was a blast.
Nice.
They had a keg of Miller. I said, okay, well, I'm going to be having some Miller. Some Bud Light seltzers. Okay. It was a fun time all around. Great food. Met a lot of great people. Yeah, can't complain about that.
Solid.
Yeah.
Sounds like a weekend.
I know. We always work for the weekend. Should we start this up now? Should we just go cruise back out west and deal with this thing called the NFC West and march on into it?
Much different than last week.
I know. I'm not excited for this.
Yeah, much different than last week.
All right.
Can we just call this the sad division?
This is the sad division.
Well, there's one that's worse, but
there's one that's going to be just depressed, and then the other three, we'll figure that out as we go through. But, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
And we are here. Episode 93 of For the Fan is here. Last week, if you were with us, we did the AFC West, and it was an adventure and a half. It was one of my favorite episodes. It was all over the place. Grilling, team discussions, secrets of fantasy. If you want to go back and listen to it, you can find it on our YouTube channel, Twitter page, and or Facebook page. Or you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spreaker.com. It's a place called Bullhorn that 300 people decided to tune into us. No idea where that is.
I mean, especially if you want to learn about diner steaks.
If you want to learn about dinner steaks. If you want to have a really good spelling or just language arts.
Learn the difference between 1 and verse 2.
Yeah.
So is it dessert or dessert? Desert or dessert? Which one is 2 and which one is 1?
I enjoyed the episode last week. I watched the whole thing back, and it was listened to it back. It was a good episode. I was pretty happy with it. So it was a good one back. You know, we did a good job last week, actually.
Yeah, despite having 17-month off process, we're back. We're in business.
Fact.
Crack these knuckles. Let's rip the Band-Aid off here. Let's just go back out to the West, and we're gonna start out in the desert, Arizona. The offseason from 2022 involved Kyler Murray holding out, tweeting he wants a new contract. He gets his large money contract with a clause in it where he has to have a 3-hour independent study course within this contract. And it was basically laughed out of the league because if you know Kyler well enough, he plays a whole lot of Call of Duty and, pro player there. Started out the season, it was disappointing to get D-Hop back to go a couple games. Kyler Murray tears his ACL in a Monday night game against the Patriots to where what's-his-face gets fired from Arizona. And then they bring in Jake's favorite human in the entire world, Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, that's right.
Did you do the thing?
I wanted to do the thing.
Oh, you blew it. That was the only thing I was looking forward to.
I forgot all about that
entire section of the podcast.
We could just do the sound effects ourselves if you want, but
I wanted him to do the thing that the Eagle, like the Philly radio does. Every time his name is mentioned, it plays his stupid pew pew explosion noises right afterwards.
Yeah, whatever. When he met Kyler for the first, that's how he broke the ice with Kyler for the first time, which blows my mind entirely. Just, I don't know. It's already off to a laughable start.
whenever I see Jonathan Gannon, I just see Murr from Impractical Jokers. I'm the only one that sees it, but I really think, somewhere the rest of the team's in State Farm Stadium, and they're just saying, "Okay, come on, call a timeout when you don't need to call a timeout."
He's practically joking himself at thinking he's good at coordinating defense.
That's a good way to put it.
They signed their guy, 2 days after the Super Bowl? They basically trapped him inside State Farm Arena, said, "Hey, you got to sign, and you got to sign right now because we're tired of waiting. We want you as our head coach." Jonathan Gannon becomes the head coach. They end up having to flip-flop third-round picks because of a tampering problem, which was resolved right before the draft. And here we are. The phone's ringing. Everything's going off right now. This is a typical episode in my world.
I've never.
Let's go to the offense, and I'll hopefully let this phone ring out.
Has that ever happened on an episode?
Oh, so many times. If Colton was here, he knows this. He knows this by heart. I mute the mic and I just start smiling because I just want to let him talk and let him go on.
That's amazing. I'm so glad.
Who's calling?
We could.
There we go. We're good. So Kyler Murray is probably more than likely not going to be starting week 1 and probably not through the first.
Question, because we know that Green is rookies, okay?
Green is rookies.
Newly drafted players. I did see this when I was putting this together. Kyler is red. Is that like currently injured?
He's definitely not starting week 1. There is no shot he starts. I think they're going to try to ease him back from the ACL injury and other damages he's done to his knee. So they're going to just try to ease him back in. They're going to let him just get kind of back up. Or maybe they just won't let him play this season, and we'll probably talk about what's going to happen with 2 of their first-round picks, which probably might be 2 top 5 overall selections.
So what is it? Is it Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy or maybe Jeff Driscoll might be the start. I mean, Colt McCoy, when he filled in for Kyler back a couple years ago, I liked him. He played really good. He won like 3-1 as a starter.
That's not bad.
It's not a terrible backup.
No.
Probably the year he went to the playoffs, maybe. I'm not too sure. But that's probably where that took place.
Who do we got here? I mean,
there is nobody here that I find just amusing or entertaining whatsoever. I am just so bored of this offense.
Yeah, tell us how you feel.
Hollywood Brown, I just am not entertained with. Rondell Moore, I give it a 50-50. Greg Dortch, he's all speed.
Sure.
Honestly, all I'm excited to see is Paris Johnson because I think he's going to be the league's next best, like young offensive tackle. I'm excited to see what he can do from Ohio State, and I'm excited to see what Trey McBride can do at tight end. There's just nothing on this offense that makes me scream, man, I want to watch Arizona Cardinals football. There's nothing here for me.
This is like, it's kind of like, okay, we didn't really do much to this offense. We didn't really improve it. We just think the head coach change is going to make the difference, right?
I think they just recognize that they're bad, and we start with like hoping that they'll have a decent coach, and then build from there.
So
but it's bad. Yeah, this is easily the worst team in football.
We thought the Raiders could be the worst. No, the Cardinals are going to take the icing on the cake here.
Yeah, so this is why I didn't want to say like the Raiders were objectively the worst because this team's bad.
So
and you have Gannon as your head coach.
So they
offensive coordinator.
Yeah, who's there? What do you got?
Or is he running the offense too?
That'd be kind of scary.
I will look that up really quick.
And it's also just like, defensive coach, head coach now.
Drew Petzing.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
This is his first season in Arizona, his 10th in the NFL. He spent the last 3 seasons with Cleveland as the quarterback's coach.
Okay. What else?
So one of the worst quarterbacks over that time.
Well, I mean, he had Baker's best year as a career starter in 2020, but then decline after. But yeah, they added Jeff Driscoll, Zach Pascal, Dennis Daly on offense. But they did end up losing a lot. And Trace McSorley, probably their best quarterback, second best quarterback on the roster. Darrell Williams, Robbie Anderson, Chosen Anderson, whatever name he wants to go by today. I really don't know.
I forgot about that. Not too much on this team.
Pharaoh Cooper, who's I say one of the top 5 special teamers. AJ Green retired. Max Williams left. Cody Ford left. Max Garcia, Justin Pugh, Rodney Hudson.
You say DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, he's gone too. But
I don't think you said the largest loss.
Well,
it's not really a loss. They just said, you know what, just get off the team. We don't want you here anymore.
But like that, DeAndre Hopkins was the only reason Kyler Murray looked even competent at quarterback. Any game that DeAndre Hopkins did not play in that offense, they looked terrible.
Well, I think that's that. Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of the reason why last year was so poor.
They can always sign another guy, a Cardinals legend. He never officially retired.
Who are you talking about?
I think he has the second most receptions in NFL history. Larry Fitzgerald. Bring him back.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm over this conversation already.
Objectively, maybe better than the receivers on this team right now. Not really. I'm not going to do that. But I mean, Mark, it is tough because I don't want any of these guys on this team as a number one receiver on my team. Rondale Moore.
I have nothing to look forward to for this team. There is nothing that makes me just say, wow. Oh, wow, the Cardinals are playing. Let me turn on the TV. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to watch the Cardinals.
It's kind of true, which is a very unfortunate.
And also the unfortunate thing is I think they, in any good offense, their top two receivers would be probably the best slot receiver in the entire league. Pure slot receiver.
I'm okay with that.
Moore or Brown.
Yeah.
But they're going to be forced to be on the outside and just going to be a train wreck.
Yeah. Zach Pascal on this team, who at one point was more than what he is now. Yeah.
Let's move over to defense. I'm tired of looking at this. And the defense is not any better from the offense, man. There is just too much going on here. So let's talk about the additions here on defense, okay? So they got LJ Collier, which you can see on the top of the screen, Carlos Watkins also up there, Kevin Strong, Kazir White, Rashad Fenton, and then their departures, Zach Allen, J.J. Watt, Marcus Golden, Cameru Gruger-Hill, Byron Murphy, which is a major loss in the secondary, and their punter, Andy Lee, but we aren't really focusing too much on the special teams here.
Yeah. Even though
there is nothing on this team that makes me scream, man, I just want to watch Cardinals football.
Question. Are they going to ever figure out how to use Simmons?
I think Simmons could probably coach this team a lot better than what he can honestly just do. So he's lined up in the nickel on the depth chart, but
why?
Well, he was the best raw talent coming out of the draft. Like you can line this man up anywhere and he can play. And then it's just, oh no, you're just a linebacker.
He was an amazing linebacker in space and rushing the passer in college to just a nickel corner.
Yeah, and I think he is still him. I just think it's just so unfortunate of a situation, and they don't know what they're doing with him ever. And it's just kind of like, what do you want this dude to do? Put the whole team on his shoulders on defense? Because at times it's not promising. Everywhere is not promising. I mean, Carlos Watkins, okay. Solid. Other than that, I mean, you didn't make any improvements to this team defensively, right? You lost Murphy, which is huge. Buda Baker exists, and that's that. Like, you know, I don't. There's no names on here that I talk about during a whole season. You know,
it's like every name that I would think of, I'd only like if they were on a good team and like they're like a solid piece as part of it.
Yeah,
none of them are like the guy.
No, I just don't even I don't have many promising.
I honestly think we have a candidate for a winless season.
Let's go to their schedule. So their schedule is the 11th hardest in the league, and weeks 2 through 5 they play all playoff teams that reached the divisional round and or later. And looking at it right here,
there's a possibility they start. There's a good possibility they start 0-9.
If they do get a win, it could be Washington.
Yeah, week 1 maybe. One has film, and you're just kind of doing what you're doing. First time quarterback at home, basically. Like, sure.
That's
Sure.
a road game. They start off on the road.
And they start off on the road. But sure, I mean, they could win that game. I'm okay with saying that.
I think
That
there's
they
only there's only 2 games they can probably win. I think their ceiling is 2. That's Washington and that's Atlanta. Like there is no one else on this team that I could say, wow, they have a chance.
Houston, you don't think that they could still?
Houston has more together than Arizona
Maybe they could
does.
string 2 together. A little momentum game at Houston, Little, maybe Chicago. Maybe
If
Chicago.
it was like a September, October game in Chicago, sure.
I'm only saying this
The
based on
winter in the Midwest, no, they're not winning that game. They're gonna be praying to get back on that plane to fly back to Arizona because it's gonna be much warmer there than will be in Chicago.
I'm only saying that based off of health, because the only team where health could really impact them on this list is like Chicago. Other than that,
And it's also brutal too. They got to play
Right.
the Rams. They go on a very tough streak at the end of the season. They play the Rams who has a really good front. The Steelers that have a top 3 front. The Niners that have the top 3 front.
yeah, that's true.
I don't think Kyler can honestly go out and play this. I don't think so.
It would
And
need
this goes down too. Here, you go back to the draft here. They had the 3rd overall pick. Houston trades up with them with the 3rd pick. They go back to 12. They get Houston's pick next year. So there's a good chance that they could have the number 1 overall pick and maybe a 2 through a 5, like a really good chance at a 2 through a 5. We could probably see Caleb Williams be the successor.
That's what I was just about to ask. There's a good chance we see that they do the quarterback assassination again. We just drafted Josh Rosen. Kyler Murray, come on down. Basically, just starting his new deal. Hey, Caleb.
That's a product of the same head coach. No.
Lincoln Riley.
Well, yeah, I'm saying I attribute anything Kyler is to Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So
I don't know.
At all,
it's unfortunate.
Looking at all this. This is a very stupid question to ask, but a lot of the other teams, it won't be so stupid to ask. What will make this season successful for the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, it's easy. Number 1 overall pick.
It's kind of true.
That's a successful season for them.
That's kind of true. Because what do you? Okay, so you can finish at the absolute best if Kyler might come in season 4 or 5 week 4 or 5, right?
I don't think you could rush him. I think you want to just like.
No, but I don't know.
Well, what does it matter?
If you have you could trade away Kyler and then hopefully get some assets, kind of get his salary off the books, and then you don't want to risk an injury, and then what do you got to do with him?
It is unfortunate because it's just I got nothing. I don't want to just speak negatively about the team. There's still talent on the team, but it is unfortunate because what do you want me to say? When you're not winning the division, hands down, I don't see you making playoffs, right? Even squeaking something through and trying to get through there. I don't see that happening. So then, yeah, sure. The lower the pick is your best possible successful season. It's such an unfortunate. It's so depressing to just say something like that.
Or you could just trade the number 1 pick and just get the house for him, whatever the house might be.
Yeah.
Pick players. I mean, a generational talent at the number 1 spot in the 2024 draft. So I think Cardinals fans are just looking forward to 9 months from now, just waiting to see, oh, hey, maybe we might get a successor at quarterback. And
Also,
maybe we'll get it correct because they haven't really had a quarterback since Kurt Warner. And then before that is who?
what is this? I'm very interested, by the way, in this logo. Okay. Yep. That's what I'm looking at
What are you talking about?
on the schedule. Yeah. Put it back up. The Cards Wire logo, by the way.
Oh, there's a man right there.
Look at that. What is that?
What is that?
That is one of the most insane logos and things that I've ever seen.
Put that up to the camera.
I don't know if I can. Can I? Can you see that? Oh yeah, what is that, dude? What is that logo? This is just we're going off on something else now, but what do you call that? That's a bird that looked like it ran into a wall.
It's the appropriate Cardinals logo for this.
Yeah, this is currently the appropriate Cardinals logo. Cards wire. I guess that's, yeah, sure. Okay. We may continue.
We got to talk about this really quick too. Their uniforms. They had such a great chance.
Gosh.
I don't understand why they got to write the city or the town across the front there. Like,
they went and just said, hey, what are the most basic, boring?
Are those actually different than their regular uniforms?
I don't know. Are they? I don't.
Besides the all white.
It's so. There's nothing to look forward to for this team this season. I'm sorry, everyone.
Nah. There's one thing. It's in 9 months. That's the draft. I think that's the only thing that's actually worth exciting. Anything exciting for a Cardinals fan right now.
Yeah, the most exciting part of their season will be the last week if they are the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Or number 1 pick.
Can they even be the upset team? I'm going to bring this up one more time. Seattle. Okay, sure.
Seattle, maybe Philly, maybe the Niners. Well, they're not favored in any game. They're not favored in any games this year. They are the underdog in every single game.
Okay, well, that's about right. Wow.
They'll probably get a home 3 points against Atlanta.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah, Bijan's going to run all over that defense. He might honestly break AP's record. Oh, I'm sorry. AD, pardon me. Shall we move forward?
Yeah,
I would love to move on. Okay, let's talk about something that's more exciting right now. And we're going to go to sunny Los Angeles, where the Los Angeles Rams, they won the Super Bowl in their house, Rams house, at February 2022. All the hype, maybe they can repeat, maybe this, maybe that. Week 1 of last year, they say, oh, hey, maybe we will have a Super Bowl preview between the Bills and the Rams. The Bills beat the ever-living crap out of the Rams, and that kind of just set the season in a full go for the Rams. Yep, 5-12. They lost Matthew Stafford. They went through, I want to ask you this. Do you know how many offensive line rotations the Rams went through last year?
Oh.
No, I don't.
It was some stupid number, yeah.
13 offensive line rotations. Their offensive line play was so bad. Okay, they lost Cooper Kupp. I think they lost their big 4. They lost Aaron Donald. They lost Kupp. They lost Stafford. It was a very forgettable season for the Rams and the worst season for a defending Super Bowl champ in NFL history. That's what it was for the Rams.
Okay.
Let's see. You talk about the O-line, but that brings me right into the guy I was going to highlight for the one thing that I really liked that it did was their first pick that they made, Avila. That's an awesome pick. I loved that, even though they don't have, when's the next first round pick they have?
Next year.
No, next year? Okay. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought they had another like 2
No,
years.
they were trying to trade 2 firsts for Brian Burns. They're trying to trade a 2024 and a 2025 to get Brian Burns from Carolina at the trade deadline.
Oh my gosh. Pass rush would be.
And then that would be, from when Jared Goff was drafted all the way to 10 years after Goff was drafted, that you would not have a first round pick.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, you can't do that. But not a bad pick with, their earliest pick, but the rest of the draft I did not care for.
They have Sony Michel listed as the 4th string running back. That's wild to me.
Who's the Vikings head coach? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, the Rams were definitely missing him last year. They were able to scheme up Cooper Kupp in every which way possible and get him wide open every single time. Second most catches and I think second most yards in the season.
Well, remember how utterly disappointing week 1 was when we watched this team? It was like, whoa, like this team is like in pieces immediately. Week 1 last season. We watched that game and it was like what just, I mean, it was awful. Remember that?
Yeah, the only offensive thing they had was Kupp.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got like 35 fantasy points that game. And then outside of that, there was nothing. The running backs couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
Cam
the running
Akers
backs.
fell off the map immediately. Didn't he had a better second half, but
Yeah. But okay, see, here's the thing. They've never, ever been able to just commit to Cam Akers. It's never been a thing. So I wonder where they're going here. And that's why I instantly looked at running backs, saw Sony Michel at 4th, right? I feel like Sony Michel holds more value than something like that. He should, to me, be a second string because we've seen him succeed in previous years and stuff.
I think they also really like Kyron Williams, though.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if that works, that works. But they need something at the running back position, and which is wild because there's been nothing but talks in the past week about how the running back position is expendable, and the value of the running back position is so much less than it used to be. But I think this team could use something that doesn't feel as stale and slow and like just used as the running back position has felt on this team. Because again, to me, the running back position on this team for the last few seasons, it's like they can't commit to a running back that is efficient and works. Cam Akers, I like him. Darrell Henderson liked him. But it's like, it just seemed to me that whatever their decisions were for running backs were never really effective. You know, depending on play calling, depending on whatever their play design was and how they used the running backs, it just never felt truly effective. And I would like for them to maybe get a running back that comes in here that feels exciting. And
do you think that they just don't want to lean on a single running back because they got burned so bad with Todd Gurley?
Maybe because they got burned bad with Todd Gurley. That's a fact.
Like they leaned on him, he did amazing. They paid him, and injuries immediately derailed that.
Yeah, and Todd Gurley was such an effective. I mean, the likes of what we now see as Saquon and CMC, where they're guys that do both things effectively, and you did lean on him. But it just feels like, and you don't need a running game to be successful in this league right now. But
You need a running game to open up the passing game.
You need a
That's
running
what they
game to be
need.
successful.
Well, okay, you don't need a running game to win a Super Bowl. But either way, it's just not exciting. And like I said, I think it's very stale. And I think it just doesn't – there's not a running back that ever steps on the field for them in the past few seasons where I think a play might break out. I just feel like they need a change in the running back portion of this team or the running game portion of this team where something exciting happens during the game. Because I feel like that almost never happens for the running game. Or running back, period.
They just got to sign a guy like, I don't know, sign a Leonard Fournette, sign a Zeke. I mean, sign like someone that's just older. You're not going to be shelling out for,
True.
Give him $3 million.
Dalvin Cook.
Sorry, Will.
Dalvin Cook would be cool on this team. I would love to see Dalvin Cook on this team. I feel like that would immediately elevate this team. But I don't know. I just feel like Cam Akers, I feel like he needs a change of scenery maybe. I just don't know. Because none of it's ever exciting for this running back group. So I'm just the first thing that came to my mind because we know what we get with Cooper Kupp. That's not Van Jefferson hasn't been bad. Ben Skoranek last year, honestly, was a true bright spot on this team despite everything that happened. Tyler Higbee is an effective receiving tight end. Like none of it's bad. But when have you been able to say the run game has done anything exciting for this team in the past few years? You just can't, So that's my take. You guys can talk.
The Rams have $9.7 million in cap space right now. They got a staggering $74 million in dead cap. So clearly the next offseason will probably be a lot better than what it was this offseason. They made some blockbuster moves like signing Brett Rippon and trading for Hunter Long, but their departures outweigh the additions because those are the only two key additions the Rams have made.
Yeah.
And the departures, Baker Mayfield, if you want to consider that a departure, John Wolford, Allen Robinson, if you want to consider that as well, David Edwards, Matt Skura, and then if you want to should we just go to defense right now?
Well, just to touch on that, I don't think what they've lost on offense is all that bad.
No, they have Matt LaFleur as offensive coordinator. I think it's just going to spell downhill spiral for the Rams. He is just terrible.
Fair. Okay. You said it. Yeah, we can
listen. Listen here, when he was the Jets offensive coordinator, he hid Zach Wilson. He didn't want to pass the ball, but then you have Joe Flacco and Mike Waco out there. Oh yeah, here's 400-yard passing games. Oh, Zach Wilson. Oh, we're gonna stick to like 170. We want to preserve you for downhill later games and all that. But yeah, they
trust him to throw the ball.
Yeah.
What they lost on defense, they made up in the draft, drafting a lot of great guys. But they lost Leonard Floyd, Greg Gaines, Ashawn Robinson, Bobby Wagner, Troy Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott. Their kicker and punter, Riley Dixon and Matt Gay. And we lead into this point right here.
Also, holy rookies.
I really like Kobe Durant. I really do. I think he was a stud last year as a rookie. I think he's just going to grow further this coming season. I really like it. But the defense, I'm still not a fan of this defense. I really am not.
This is the worst defense they've had on paper
since they moved that back to LA.
Yeah, I'll say yes to that.
And I really liked Leonard Floyd on this team. Like I thought he was such a difference maker as the
so
other
was.
guy to Aaron Donald. But
so was.
Now
Bobby Wagner was huge on this team.
Yeah, now what are they going to do? Like that is now you can.
It's true. What are they going to do?
Because now you can just key in on Donald. You're not scared of anybody else.
What about like these inside linebackers? I don't know anything about these dudes.
The only person that outside of Donald and Kobe Durant that I know, and also Akila Witherspoon, Hodges Tomlinson, LT's kid. I'm not sure if that's his kid or if that's like his nephew or something, but he is related to LT in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, this is kind of a degraded defense. This is kind of sad to look at this and say this is the Rams defense compared to what we've always known to be the Rams defense in the past, recent years.
Well, next year the Rams have $47 million in cap space, so they could probably make a lot of better moves and maybe bolster that defense to what it once was.
Yeah.
Going from between their two Super Bowl runs. Hopefully.
This is a team that won 5 games last year, and their defense got this much worse. Like, I don't think their offense is bad in any way, shape, or form, to be honest.
Yeah, especially with a healthy Stafford.
Yeah, especially with a healthy Stafford. He's getting up there in years, though. He really is.
Well, they tried to. Michael Lombardi went on Pat McAfee and said they tried to trade Stafford this offseason. That's even before his 3-year contract they signed after the Super Bowl kicked in.
They did draft Stetson Bennett, but
yeah, the future of what?
Kind of funny.
I would take a rookie Brandon Whedon over a rookie Stetson Bennett any day of the week.
It kind of makes sense though. Stetson Bennett drafted to there just does make sense to me, I think. But yeah, no, I don't know. Offense, I can't call the offense bad, but the defense, having lost so much off a 5-win season, that's tough.
Yeah, we may as well go to the schedule at this point.
Yeah, what do we got?
I think the offense keeps them in games. That's really what's going to happen. The cup to
the first weeks is tough. That's a ugly first 5 weeks. Ugly. And if Indianapolis has anything together, that's still a really ugly first 5 weeks. That's an 0-5 first 5 weeks to me. It's a Seattle versus LA. That's a good first week, though. That'll be a good game, I'm sure. But, man, I couldn't say convincingly that LA gets a win in these first 5 weeks.
I think they win 8 wins. They win 8 games.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it as more of a mediocre team than a trash team.
That's our tier level.
I see them. They're going to start 0-3. I say they beat Indianapolis. They'll beat Arizona. I say they shock Dallas because Dak Prescott will throw his 10th interception. We'll have a laugh at when we bring up that quote in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Green Bay. I think is a toss-up right there. Second Arizona game, Cleveland, Washington, New Orleans, the Giants. And then I say 8-9 wins. I say 8 or 9 wins. I feel like if their offense could stay hot and they can fire on all cylinders.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this is to me is a 6 to 8 win team. Maybe they can improve, which is wild.
As long as Stafford is healthy, the offensive line doesn't go through another 13 rotations. Maybe they go through 3 rotations, not 13.
Yeah.
I think that will benefit them a hell of a lot. Cooper Kupp being healthy too. I mean, and also Aaron Donald, maybe some consistency at running back. Maybe they'll figure out who's going to be the next guy moving forward. But yeah, I think 8-9.
Yeah, I think I'm closer to more of a 6 win.
I think I can.
Okay, Indy, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Green Bay, right?
Maybe Green Bay, Arizona twice. Yeah, I'm going to lean more to 6, maybe. Yeah, 5 through 7.
How many division wins did they have this year, Will?
1.
Nice.
Who was it against? I have no idea.
Hopefully, Arizona.
It was probably. Oh no, it was probably it was the Cardinals. It was definitely the Cardinals.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So, I must ask, what will make this season successful for the Rams? Anything better than last year?
I mean, honestly, a fully healthy offense, I think, could just straight up make this a more successful season. More successful than last year than the Rams. A successful season overall for the Rams. I don't know.
I think a successful season is a watchable offense.
Yeah.
Just fun games that are track meets.
Yeah, I like that.
Get Cooper Kupp the ball, get him back to 130 catches.
Maybe
Cooper Kupp would have probably broken Michael Thomas's record. I mean, he was up there at like 80 catches through like 7 games. He was on like a historic pace.
Maybe figure out your running back situation more permanently. You know, maybe.
I think you got to know.
I really want them to try to figure that part out because I think that is a big missing spot on this team, you know.
They also got to figure out the defense, the young kid people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they're rookies, but I think they got to step up a lot faster than some other rookies.
It's fair.
Shall we move forward into probably one of the shockers?
Promising.
Yeah, let's talk about teams that are better.
To a man that ain't right and back, Geno Smith gets his starting job after Russell Wilson's traded away for 2 1s and a whole load of players. Drew Lock was the projected starter, gets COVID. Geno Smith comes out. He defeats the former QB1 week 1, and they go on honestly a shocking season to say the least. 9 wins, a playoff appearance. They actually held a lead in the playoff game as well. 4-2 in the division. Man, there's a lot of upside here, and they just finished up all the picks too with the Russell Wilson trade as well. Let's also share this too. These throwback uniforms, I don't think it gets much better than this. I really don't.
I feel the same emotions as Geno Smith feels in that picture looking like that. That is one happy looking dude. I love those jerseys. I really do.
God, I love give me 20. Screw it. I want 20. That's all I want.
Those are good. I feel like those need to be the main jerseys, dude. Like those look solid.
There's also a couple like Easter eggs on the jersey too. On the inside of like the back collar, they have the old stadium on there too. It's like a little picture like inside the jersey.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, if I'm a Seattle fan, I'm hammering the buy option on this jersey, like immediately. This is
all 53 players. Screw it. You want to have them in?
yeah, there you go. All
every
50 players. Yes. No, it is. It really does look good. And you know what? We have a lot of blue teams in this league, I feel like, but this looks fresh.
The green on like the shoulder pads. God,
it does look good. Yeah, it's not like highlighter green thing with the weird.
Oh, those are awful.
Yeah, right. Like it's not. This is a great color scheme, dude, and that blue is good. It looks appealing to just look at. You know. Yeah, it's a good jersey. This is up there.
let's head back into the team here. Let's look at the offense here, and the offense only gets better from a year ago, where Noah Fant, Will Dissly at tight end. You got your DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett at receiver. They go out and draft Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is probably the best receiver in the draft. They only get better at receiver. The offensive line only gets better, where they hit home runs with Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross last year. And then also running backs too. They take Kenneth Walker. They draft Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. They get 2 super young and youthful running backs.
I love what they did in this offseason.
I think they can only get this team can only get better, and it's honestly exciting to see.
Like they could not have picked a more perfect scheme and skill pick than Smith and Jigba.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, those 3 I would take over quite a few in the league.
Yeah.
Plus you have Charbonnet, who's a great, like, whatever you want to call
didn't he have the most yards for like a running back in FBS or something on average, or was that probably like Pac-12?
We only played in the Pac-12 like 1 year,
or whatever conference they're in now.
Because he was Michigan for a while, and then he went to UCLA.
I was talking to Jake about this last night, about this team. The way I see it is you're in a spot. And we've had this combo of DK and Lockett especially has been on this team for a while, right? This has been 2 receivers or a duo that's been on this team for a while. At some point, one of these 2 are going to take a step back during a season, right? You 100% can afford for one of these dudes to take a step back and be a receiver 3 on this team. And that would be the best receiver 3 in the league. And like, this is perfectly set up for something like that. I mean, this is the perfect time to have this receiver drafted to this team. You have a Kenneth Walker who is now here for the full season starting day 1, who can only, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. 100%.
Behind now another year in offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, this is like borderline scary, I think, for other teams.
I think it ultimately relies on Geno Smith. If last year wasn't a fluke and he ain't writing back, still, he wants to just keep on elevating his game. He wants to rub it in, the Jets, the Giants, the Chargers. Can't really blame him with the Chargers. They have Phillip Rivers, but he gets this ultimate chance to now be the starter finally after years of being a laughable joke. He now gets to go out and just ball, and he showed that last year, Pro Bowl quarterback. I think it relies on the shoulders of Geno Smith again this year.
With what we'll get into with the defense, they will go absolutely as far as Geno Smith takes them. They have the sky's the limit as far as he can take them.
100%. 100. That's the perfect way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And historically on this podcast, when we say things like that, it's usually pretty true. Like they end up as long as that guy does their job, the team does well.
Yeah.
Ends up further than you.
This is such a well-built offense right now. Like everything lines up.
And Geno Smith has the most passing yards in Seattle history for a single season. So
Yeah, but is that
Danger later, Russ.
per game though? Because there's the whole another game to it.
That's true.
Like I don't
That's a valid point.
I don't do season records anymore because it's just
Even
they're
though-
irrelevant now.
Though even for him to be up there is still pretty substantial, though. You know.
Yeah. But season records they don't mean anything anymore just because of
It's kind of true. Yeah.
the extra game.
Then Seattle opens up their fifth overall pick, and they just hit a home run. Devon Witherspoon out of Illinois.
But beside that, Derek Hall is the one I like.
Derek Hall, another home run pick.
Home run.
They
So,
they signed Julian Love from the Giants, so now they got 3 safeties.
So can I make a statement right now?
Sure, the floor is yours.
This defense reminds me of the Legion of Boom. Like that secondary is nuts. Can we just appreciate that? Plus the front 7 that they have working with the Derek Hall and what they have building.
Jordan Brooks,
Like,
Bobby Wagner.
Teams realize really fast.
Bobby Wagner now?
Yeah, they re-signed him because the Rams cut him at 1 year into his 5-year deal.
Nice.
Like teams recognize really early that Tyreek Woolen was a problem and you can't throw at him.
Is it Reek now? Is that what is going on here?
What is going on here?
I don't know.
Did he change his name? Like, did he just because I that was the first thing I saw on here, and I'm like, what did I miss?
I'm not here. Listen, whatever. Okay, as long as this doesn't change his name to Chosen Woolen, okay, like I'll be completely okay with that. Okay, he wants to change his name to something shorter that is his name. Fine, so be it. But
You could keep going, Jake.
All right. So then you have they're gonna throw at Devin Witherspoon a lot starting this season, just because right now it's the only place to go. And if he does even remotely well, there's nowhere to go. Nowhere. It's Kobe Bryant's good. Tyreek Woolen's good. Devin Witherspoon is expected to be really good. And even if Jamal Adams is healthy or not, it's Quandre Diggs and Julian Love. So where are you going through the air? We say it's a quarterback league. Where's the quarterback going?
to the ground,
With Derek Hall.
going back to the bench because they're going 3 and out. Like that's what's going to happen.
Getting coverage sacked. When did they get Devin Bush?
They signed him in the offseason. So their additions are Mario Edwards Jr., Draymond Jones, Jaron Reed, Devin Bush, Bobby Wagner, Julian Love. But they did end up losing LJ Collier, Puna Ford, Shelby Harris, Quentin Jefferson, Al Woods.
I don't even care.
And
This
Boye
team is
Mafe, too.
sick, though.
This team's sick.
Devin Bush, I didn't even notice that.
I wish Colton was on and he could give us some actual insight as to if maybe Devin Bush can be good.
Yeah.
Because ever since the Steelers lost Ryan Shazier, they kind of just been like in linebacker hell. That's just
I know.
they draft linebackers and it's just
Was like
they never perform.
baptized in this league in that Tom Brady game, like when his first game into the league and he got like absolutely exposed by Brady, which I mean that sucks as a rookie linebacker being put in that position. But I don't know. That's just what I remember. Also, all the sports sites, Yahoo Sports, Fox, NBC Sports, and the Seattle Seahawks website themselves all list him as just Reek. So I don't know. It's not a name change though. It's like a nickname, but they all list him. All the sports websites and stuff list him as just Reek. So I don't know. I guess that's a thing now. We might have to start just saying Reek Woolen. So
We got to start recognizing greatness here.
yeah, I guess that's it. You know,
Well, when you play like that, you can
Yeah.
call yourself whatever you want.
100%.
I want to go back to the first slide here, okay? They went 9-8 in a season where it was supposed to be Pete Carroll's going out party. He's not going to come back. You know, he's just trying to figure out what the Seahawks could do for this past draft. But 9-8, 4-2.
Okay,
Now
but
the
let me ask you
schedule.
this real fast before we even talk about the schedule. Last season, did they feel like a 9-8 team to you? Because I thought, actually, I expected at least a 10-win season when I went to go grab that for the slide. I did not think of them as a 9 8 team.
I think they started the first couple of weeks slow.
Maybe
Because
that's why.
Kenneth Walker didn't come in until like
Week
6,
4 or
7.
5. Yeah. Rashad Penny went down, I think. But to me, they definitely felt better than a 9-8 team.
Because they ended the season so hot.
So strong. Yeah. Yeah. But okay, you can continue. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to count how many games they can win. And I'm in double digits right now. I really think this team could win double digits. I think they go 4-0 before the bye. I really think so.
Oh, that's a crappy bye week.
Okay, Cincinnati, listen, they get off the bye week. I think Cincinnati beats them. Arizona, I think it's going to be the highest score. They're going to score the most points in NFL history in a single game, okay? I really think so. Cleveland, Baltimore, Washington, yeah, they're winning. Rams,
This is
they're
such
winning.
a beautiful schedule for them. Like, this is so nice. Look at their last 3 weeks in this league. Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Arizona. If you were worried about playoffs at week 15, I feel like you could just walk yourselves right in the playoffs at that point.
I have the Seahawks as a 12-win team this year. I think
I don't hate that at all.
They split with the I think they split with the Niners. I think we get a nice throwback to 2012, 2013 49ers and Seahawks where it's just 50-50 in those matchups. We can enjoy. We just sit down and it's just like that is a matchup you want to see. And
so, Will, I had them splitting with the Niners, and I think I counted 14 wins.
Yeah, I was up around there, 13 to 14 wins. I mean, but that's like, potentially 13 or 14 wins for me, not like guaranteed.
And that's with them. I have them beating us.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Holy. I mean,
the Eagles do have to play them in Seattle, and the Eagles do have a tough point playing in Seattle.
We do not play well in Seattle at all. Plus,
all right, so I'll crank that up to 13 wins.
This is like an 11 to 13, potentially, if it all goes really well, 14 win season. I mean, this is like sky's the limit. Jake said it. I mean, it's the truth. Sky is the limit for this team right now. This is such a well-built team.
Yeah, like I did it off the assumption of we get last year's Geno.
Yeah,
that's a 14-win team.
I think so.
Do you think that they can dethrone the Niners as the best team in the West?
Yes.
I think maybe.
Yes.
If they're ever going to do it, it's now. Like, if they're ever going to do it, it's going to be this season.
Because here's the thing. You want to just have this conversation roll right into the Niners?
Yeah, maybe you want to just...
Because what I was thinking is they don't have to... They can stack the box at all times. They can just play outside coverage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can sell out for the run game all they want and have the quarterback try to beat them.
Did they split with them last year, Will? Do you know?
An early win on them.
I feel like they did, right?
Because Geno Smith came in and then Geno Smith crapped the bed week 2 when they played the Niners.
Okay.
I don't know. They didn't. No, they got swept by the Niners because Brock Purdy came in and just lit it up.
Because it was they. Yeah. Okay.
I want to just ask the one question too. What will make this season successful for the Seattle Seahawks?
It goes as
deep playoff run.
Yeah, deep playoff run. Yeah, maybe. Nah, I think a successful. Well, I mean, it just
win the division.
Yeah, be exciting. Win the division.
Beat home field advantage. I feel like if they're that.
Well, that's a crowning success.
Yeah, but if like I'm saying,
no one wants everyone said it like, oh, you don't want to go to Seattle and play in Seattle.
Well, yeah.
If they have a double-digit season, it's not like I'm not going to call this an unsuccessful season.
Well, I say if they Geno Smith builds off of what he has, he threw I think 29 touchdowns last year. Maybe he throws in the 30s
together, like it is on paper. First of all. It's not like there's anyone on this team where it's like, oh man, they have a window and it's we're creeping up on the end of this window. No, I feel like you're just opening this window. I mean, Kenneth Walker, first full season, receivers are still loaded, and I don't think that's ending soon. And Geno,
They're paid. You don't have to worry about re-signing a receiver. You don't have to worry about re-signing a running back. Geno
Young guys
Smith's under
on
contract.
young guys on defense set in there. I mean, the only one with a window on this team is maybe Bobby Wagner, and that's it. Like, this team is really loaded.
Only two big problems I see with this season for them is if Geno Smith was a 1 year.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a super early bye week.
Yeah, that's a very true
That is
point.
a super early bye week.
I hate that bye week. That sucks.
The best bye weeks are between, 8 and 10, 8 and 11.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're just too late in the year and you're already too hurt.
Yeah. 5 is nuts.
Like if they're going to have to go from week 5 to a, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, like that's a long stretch of games where you're playing.
What makes this bye week better is the last 3 games of the season, at least. You're not fighting up until week 18. You're probably, that's not a bad last 3 weeks.
You could probably rest guys the last week.
Yeah, maybe potentially. Well,
maybe, it doesn't. It might not matter about where you are.
Yeah, exactly. But at least the last 3 weeks are a break from, they don't have to play like San Fran in the last 2 weeks. But the fact they do have to play San Fran 3 weeks, like 1 week Dallas, then next week sucks.
They play. That's a very tough 17 days for them.
Yeah, right. That's nuts.
Well, yeah. You have the home game on a Thursday versus San Francisco.
Think of that.
Then you have to go on the road to Dallas, on the road to San Fran, and then you're immediately coming home and getting the reigning NFC champions.
Yeah.
Well, that's a Thanksgiving day. To the 23rd, I think, is Thanksgiving. So at least you get a fair week because Dallas also plays on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So you get a fair 7 days off.
Yeah,
and then you get 10 days off to really rest against the Niners.
For travel to Dallas and then travel.
But it's with travel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that does suck. All right. Well,
let's go into.
We're decided on that one.
Let's go into the runner-ups for the NFC. The San Francisco 49ers. Where to start with them? Let me go full screen here. Let's get the narration going. Not like that.
I wanted to see if you would do it. I always want to use that one because it's so absurd. All right.
Going into the season last year, it was a question. Will Jimmy G be on the roster? Will Jimmy G be this? Will Jimmy G be that? After bringing him to the NFC Championship game in 2021, he stays on a restructured deal, no trade clause. He gets to stay in San Francisco. After 6 quarters of Trey Lance, he dislocates his ankle, shin bone. Jimmy G steps back into that starting role. He rolls through. He goes all the way through November to where he gets hurt. He injures his foot against a very tough Miami Dolphins front 7. To where who else but Brock Purdy, the man from Iowa State, steps in. And he goes on one of the most magical runs in NFL history as a rookie. Mr. Irrelevant was Mr. Irrelevant no more. He is Mr. Relevant. 7-0 as a starter all the way to the NFC Championship game where it ends there with a freak hit to the elbow, launching it backwards, torn UCL, and that ends his journey as a rookie. I don't want that. I want this. So where do we go?
I'm so glad it happened again.
Where do we go from here? 13-4 and a whole clean sweep of the division here.
So we know that Brock Purdy is not starting the year.
Yeah, not a chance.
Like that's already confirmed. As he probably won't be until at least October, the earliest. So that's at least 4 weeks.
It's a quarterback carousel as soon as the season starts.
Well, that's the Niners MO.
Yeah, it is, but it's never a good thing. Like,
no, it's never a good thing.
And just like this is like, okay, Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, who's starting? I think Sam Darnold is, but the fact I think
Trey Lance is hurt too.
Is
still hurt too,
right?
So I think it's guaranteed that Darnold starts the year.
I don't even know who Brandon Allen is.
Brandon Allen. Come on, he was a Texan starter. Well, Cincinnati. He was there for a while, and before that, who knows? I am all for Sam Darnold being the starter for the 49ers.
Yeah, of course you are. I'm not.
Okay, well, you're not. I am. So that's why we're different.
What week do we get either Trey Lance or Brock Purdy?
I really think Brock Purdy can start the year. I really think.
Yeah.
I think it's 4 weeks minimum before you see either of them.
He's currently in Florida with the quarterbacks coach, and they just kind of been like just working out. It's nothing like vigorous, but it's just let's kind of see where we're at, and we're just going back and forth, just passing the football. I think we'll know more when we get to when they report. We'll probably figure out a lot more where Brock Purdy is. But if Brock Purdy cannot start, I think this is Sam Darnold's team.
Because I don't think
I did not like. There wasn't enough from Trey Lance that I saw that just makes me scream, man! I want him back as the
I think he's a non-option, so it's either Sam Darnold or when Purdy's healthy.
Well, yeah.
So what I have is, first of all, for a month now, Brock Purdy's been throwing, a month plus. Brock Purdy's been throwing, which is good. Also, though, whether Brock Purdy starts week 1 or not, this is still coming off an injury that is
bad,
directly affecting your play. You know, like
it's the same injury that ended Big Ben's career.
Yeah, when Big Ben couldn't throw more than like 15 yards, it felt like.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger was a tree at the last point of his career.
He was always a tree.
Yeah, but sometimes he was a tree that was like
he was a mobile tree. Okay, like you just see. You ever see those NATOs just pick up trees and they just throwing them everywhere? Like that was him, and that instead it's just a pew.
I can't really find.
Do you want me to bring up my thing while you kind of point out your stuff there? All right, so on offense, they didn't really focus too much on offense during the draft, except for Cameron Latu, tight end at pick 101. Additions: Chris Connolly's one from where did they even pick him up from? Tennessee. I didn't even know he was on Tennessee. John Feliciano, center. That was the one Giant center. Well, other than that, they didn't really make too many acquisitions on the defense, but they did lose Mike McGlinchey, and that's a big piece that they lost. Daniel Brunskill, another big piece from the offensive line. So now you have Colton McKivitz and then Spencer Burford come in. But then you still have Debo, you still have Ayuk, you still have Juwan Jennings, Trent Williams, even though he gets another year older, he gets another year better somehow, some way. As what we mentioned with Seattle, I think this is a team that will rely on quarterback play to get good. So whether if Brock Purdy was a 7-game wonder or maybe Sam Darnold gets his fit finally in his career, we'll figure that out. But
I mean, if you can stop the run, you can stop the Niners. They prey more on that their defense will win them a game. I am not a Niners. I'm not a Niners. I am not a Kyle Shanahan believer.
You're not the quarterback guru kind of guy. You don't believe in the QB gurus.
He's not a QB
the
guru.
Right ones.
What QB has he developed that's good? Like what QB has he elevated besides Matt Ryan in 1 year?
If that was his
RG3,
MO, right? If that was his MO, well, that was a while ago though. But if that was his MO about the quarterback guru thing, the Trey Lance project failed epically.
Miserably.
I will say that. I do not like how that went at all. All right, so here's the thing. As of 3 weeks ago, Brock Purdy remains on track to be ready for the 2023 season. Okay. Also, Alex Smith, who I guess is a part of the organization now, says that he's very confident in Brock Purdy, says Brock Purdy is mentally tough, like actually mentally tough. When they did their draft interview with Brock Purdy, he was very impressed at some of the answers, and his biggest impression was mentally tough guy. So, okay. I mean, I respect all of that. I think that's good to know. I would still kind of maybe not like, I don't like to hear really on track to be ready still, because I feel like on track is still maybe even pushing it a little bit. And there hasn't been an update for the last 3 weeks about it, and we're getting close here. So I don't know.
He's also guaranteed to miss camp.
Yeah, right. That's what I would think too, or at least the parts of camp that need to matter. I think he'll be there. Like I said, he's throwing. So
I'm a believer that
I
training
don't know.
camp's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. I would say maybe, hey, you don't have to start Brock Purdy week 1, and I feel like maybe we shouldn't. I feel like maybe they won't. So we'll see where that goes. But that's the current update that I could find amongst multiple sources.
Let's head over to the defense here. A lot to break down here, but they added Clelin Ferrell. They added the so-called number 1 free agent overall, Javon Hargrave from Philadelphia, Isaiah Oliver, and Zane Gonzalez, the kicker. Okay. This front seven still scares me. They really do. Even despite losing Samson Ebukam, Charles Omenihu, Aziz Al-Shahir.
I mean, this is still very much the same team, no? Pretty much.
The corners are always going to be bad for this team. They're always going to be bad. But the front seven makes up for it because the corners only have to play as good as the front seven gets to a quarterback.
Hey. Well, they usually have good safeties. Like, their safety play is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Hufanga is amazing. I love Hufanga. I've loved his play. He blew up last year. No idea who he was until, you have to figure out, oh, who is this guy? Quick Google search. There you go.
Also, Isaiah Oliver is not bad. That's a solid addition, I feel like.
I mean, it's a really good defense. They're going to have and I like the way that they play defense, even that we'll see with the attitude difference between D'Amico Ryans and whoever is there now.
Oh, that's true.
Because I liked more about, like, me, I like some good defense play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I liked mostly that they've always been a very aggressive and angry defense. Whether it was Saleh, D'Amico Ryans, like, they just always had that energy that I like.
Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator.
It's not bad.
Okay. Yeah, their defense is going to be scary every year. Like, it's
what we've come to expect, and we're going to get, I feel like, exactly what we expect.
They will win games on run game and defense, and that's the Niners' MO.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey is so freaking effective. It's insane.
Yep.
I mean, this was his first healthy season since what? 2019? Like,
probably.
We haven't really seen him that much. I mean, and in
2019, he was Marshall Faulk.
But also, like, now with in this offense, he doesn't need to be every down guy.
And it's kind of
he can be lined up every down, but he doesn't need to actually run the ball because they got Debo and whatever other end around.
They got 15 different people that can run the football,
and they have different packages where they have like 3 guys in the backfield.
And Christian McCaffrey right now looks like he's having so much fun, and it's the most fun it looks like he's had since Cam Newton. Him and Cam were boys, and they had a great time and whatnot on the team, and that was a great culture on that Panthers team. But since was not, the best culture. And Christian McCaffrey looks like he's just so happy in the spot and doing this and all that stuff. So I do think it's just like, I mean, in sports, me and Jake talk about this in hockey because it means a lot in hockey. But in sports, man, when the culture is fun and the culture is good and the room is good, and when the team can afford to go out there and work while having as much fun as some of these teams like San Fran has been having, I mean, that goes so long. That goes such a long way to me. So, I mean, there's still very much the team, we've learned to expect, and we're going to get exactly that, I think, again.
And let's finish up with their schedule here. Second seed in the NFC last year, despite 3 different quarterbacks starting for them. I think two
start of the year.
Yeah, 2 road games to open up the game.
Oh yeah, that part sucks.
But yeah,
but then you got 3 straight home games. But then it's also they got the 15th overall hardest schedule in the.
So it's like middle of the road. Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude, even the back end's not that bad. How did they get such a decent schedule?
Why is Tampa Bay blue if you go to week 11?
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm so confused.
Maybe it's pretty much the same red. I don't know. I mean, it's a very similar red, I guess. Maybe. And if it's not red, it's
why are the Rams red? Last week of the year.
You're right. You're 100% correct. I said maybe they don't use the red. Boom, there's the red. Okay, well, fair.
Why is Seattle
red? What is who? All right, Niners wire.
I think this is a
not it, bro.
Seattle.
I think this is a 13-win team.
Yeah, Arizona. Well, Arizona's always red. Why is Arizona yellow? What? What is this, dude? It's kind of weird, right? Why is Philly dark blue? I don't know what the heck. Baltimore's dark blue. What is happening? Jacksonville's orange. All right, I don't know. I'm sorry. For someone who has done a decent amount of design work for these podcasts on graphics, this is not what I would have chosen. But whatever. Niners wire. Yeah, let's actually analyze this, I guess, now.
I say 13 wins. This is going to come down to it's going to come down to the Seattle game, I feel. The Seattle games, I should say. Who could get that one up? Who can just whoever wins whoever sweeps.
They have why are the Eagles games mixed in really weirdly with this rivalry? Have you noticed that between this one and the last one? Like they go Seattle, Philly, Seattle, and isn't that when we then play Seattle right after that?
It is, yeah. Yeah, you know what? If we wait.
So toward the roughest part of their schedule, we're mixed in on both sides.
Let's talk about this team first, and then I want to look real quick at the Eagles thing because I'm actually very interested on how this was.
And I say that because it's theoretically a tough game for both teams.
Oh, 100%.
In trying to win their division.
Absolutely.
Not being a homer or anything, just
yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Will, but I think this schedule is harder for this team than Seattle's is. If I were to give an edge to one of the teams, I would give an edge to Seattle still. I mean, I think, you're like you said, they're putting up similar seasons. We said 13 wins for each team, maybe. Also, a kind of an easy end to this schedule as well. Maybe not. Not with the Rams there. But, yeah, I don't know. I kind of have to give Seattle the edge between the two, though. If I were to pick a team that might win one more game than the other one.
They could have identical records and it could come down to division record.
Yeah, 100%. And they might split.
I think that's very possible.
And it might have to come down to more than division record. This team went 6-0. Okay, hear me out on this. This team went 6-0 in the division. Seattle went 4-2. Seattle's only two losses were to this team. If this team and Seattle splits, they could very well both go 5-1 in the division. Now we're looking even more deeper. That's kind of nuts, to be honest.
Yeah, you could go back to like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, what is the next? Well, do you know
conference record?
It would go to. I think it would go to like conference record, home, away, and then it could go all the way down to like point differential, which was an actual thing to where two teams are actually fighting for a playoff spot, and they were just trying to get the better point differential to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I forgot who those teams were. I think it was like the Cowboys and the Giants. I don't know, but it was like mid 2000s. It was one of the wildest like breakdowns too.
Again, though, if I were to try and give an edge to one of the teams, for me, it would be Seattle. I
want to see Seattle succeed. But first, they have to make those throwback uniforms their permanent uniforms. That's the only way I want them to succeed.
That's how they make a successful season. You asked. Whatever they do, they could go 0-17 as long as they're winning those, or as long as they're wearing those jerseys. That might be a successful season to me.
But what will make the 49ers season successful?
Super Bowl or bust.
That's what I think. We've seen all the other things, right? So, like, I mean, they still have a future. Maybe figure out your quarterback situation.
I don't know how they make this money work, man. They literally somehow make it work everywhere.
Because all these dudes should be getting paid.
Nick Bosa's the next one that's going to get paid, and he's going to get paid the house. Fred Warner's paid. He got the house. Javon Hargrave got the house.
Didn't Kinlaw get a decent chunk of change too?
I think Kinlaw also. I think I don't think they picked up Kinlaw's like deal.
Well, they probably couldn't.
It's about
Dre Greenlaw, I think, is not a rookie contract anymore. Or he might be still.
I mean, his team is.
He is on the last year of his rookie deal. He doesn't have the
Fifth year.
fifth year.
Possibly.
So yeah,
And-
he's only getting paid $2 million. Well, he's going to pay for just south of $5 million this year.
So they got to sign Bosa and him next season.
Yeah. Or they could just trade away Kinlaw, get some more first round picks like they did with Buckner, and then just draft the next best interior defensive lineman and then just start the process over again.
All right. Well, I think we're. I do want to see something real quick. All right. So Philly plays
Okay.
13, week 13 here, right? Philly plays
Week
15
15.
there. Okay.
Yeah, so we
Week 5 on that. Week 17. You guys play.
Man, you play
So
like
after-
three.
I play 3 of
rough
them.
road stretch at the end of the game, end of the season for us. Then
Pretty much.
But yeah, that rounds out our show. If you made it this far, thank you for tuning in. If you want, you can follow us on the social media that are listed below. But if you are listening to us and you made it this far, you can find us on YouTube at the For the Fan Network. You can find us on TikTok at For the Fan Network, Twitter For the Fan _, Instagram For the Fan Football, and you can also find us on For the Fan on Facebook if you have a Facebook.
Yeah. Will's been putting out constant content. The YouTube, right? Is it on YouTube? The YouTube.
Oh, you sound like such a 40-year-old dad. Oh, the YouTube. You can find it on the YouTube. Oh, the Facebook.
Us tubes. So on the YouTubes, right? You've been breaking up by team, right? On the YouTube.
Yeah, I got bored, so I just said, you know what? Let's break it up because Dom's like, oh, just repost the entire episode. I'm like, that's stupid because the episode already lives on there.
Oh, so that's how you did it. I thought you did repost the whole episode. I guess not.
I did repost the whole episode. You can find the whole episode on there again.
Good.
But I said, oh, let's just break them down. I could just make some more thumbnails.
No, that was good because on YouTube, if you want to see just your team and your team alone as we go through this, you can, and you don't have to try to skip through the YouTube.
And they've been getting views too. I mean, I got 2 with like 20. That's pretty good.
Yeah, right off the bat, sounds good.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's constant content. The TikTok's been pretty good. I think it's been kind of funny. Yeah, you could go check out our diner steak.
Diner steak.
I actually just did it, and I'm not even reading it. Diner steak segment. But yeah, it's been going well.
Yeah, it has.
Constant.
Thank you for tuning in this far. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker.com, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcasts, wherever you want to listen to us on your podcast platforms. We're probably on there. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Next week, the NFC South, and I'm probably a lot more entertained to do that than I was the first 2 teams for the NFC West this week, by far.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Do you guys have any last words before I sayonara?
I'm gonna find the graphic I made for the schedule, but I'm not. It's just too much work. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to bring anything up and ruin anything as far as audio or anything like that. Yeah, I look forward to next week. NFC South should be pretty solid. That's gonna be a fun one. It's anyone's game in the NFC South, and we have a lot of new faces. That'll be fun. Other than that, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
This was a good episode again.
That's an interesting one I'm waiting for.
That is an interesting one.
I'm
Like
also
I
just-
haven't gone through it for myself. So I might just wait entirely and just see how we go through it together and make my decisions entirely. Because right now I'm completely undecided on anything in the NFC South. I have no clue. So that'll be cool. Whole different landscape in the NFC South. That will be cool. Everything's fresh.
That is right.
Tom Brady power vacuum.
The time gone. Yep. New face in New Orleans. Yeah.
New era in Carolina.
New era. And oh my gosh. The whole thing, top to bottom, is crazy. Yeah, that's so right.
So I said it's a Tom Brady power vacuum.
Yeah, that's entirely different for all 4 of those teams. That's going to be
Desmond Ritter's the longest tenured starter in the NFC South at like 6 games.
Yeah, once half a
that's
season.
nuts. That is not okay. That is so wild.
If you don't want to consider Andy Dalton because he was started with the Saints, now he's on the Panthers, but
Yeah, but
that's a topic for next week.
Coach on that team. He's just a quarterback coach. Yeah, okay. I mean, till then,
thank you for everyone tuning in. And hopefully we will see you back next week. Thank you for tuning in.